Hello, today what we're going to do is make two door frames for a cupboard in a bathroom. The doors are going to be replacing are these here, which are cheap half-inch plywood and really are not fit for purpose. So what we're going to use is pine, and I want to show you just how quickly and easily you can do these doors using the Dowelmax doweling jig. Now all the pieces are cut to length, so the first thing I want to do is make a check mark where on the face side where all the dowels are going to go on each piece. And that's all the measuring and marking you'll have to do. So I'll just put the check marks on either side of the face piece and also on the stiles, the check mark at both ends. And now we can get ready for doweling. All we do is put the reference plate against the check mark, flush it up to the end. I find a finger is fine for measuring, and drill the holes. And undo the clamps, simply slide the jig along to the other end. Tighten up the clamps and drill in this end. And that's the joints in one style completed. Probably less than a minute. Now we'll do the other style here, starting again. Again, the check mark is on there. Drop the clamp on and tighten up. Again, just push it up with your finger. One joint done. Along to the other end. And the other joint. And that's another style completed. Now on to the last style. Again, we've got the check marks. Check mark, simply flush up. One end done, slide along, and do the other end. And that's all the styles done. I did the other one before off camera. And now to do the rails. So I've got one rail in the vise and the other three ready to go. It doesn't matter if I get them mixed up, they're all the same length and the joints will be in exactly the same position. The Dowelmax is that accurate. So again, registration plate of the Dowelmax against the check mark on the wood workpiece. Tighten up the clamps and drill. Undo the clamps, cartwheel the piece of work, on again with the clamps, just flush it up with the finger. And that's one rail jointed both ends. Same with the next rail, into the clamp, jig on, flushed up, clamps tightened, joint done. Cartwheel, again, exactly the same procedure. That's that. Check mark again. Flushed up with the finger. Joint done. Cartwheel the piece. Jig on the other end. Flushed up with the finger. Joint done. Last rail. Check mark there. Jig on. Flushed up. And clamps. Joint done. And the last one, check mark is here, jig on, last joint done. And there we have it. All the joints cut. All perfect. No measuring, no marking apart from the check mark. And each one will come together exactly. So we've cut all of the joints for 2 doors in less time than it will take to set most systems up and mark them out. And every joint will be spot on, dead accurate, first time, every time. You noticed when I was doing the joints that I was lining them up with my finger. There are alternative ways if you're not too happy about that, although I found that the finger brushing them is perfectly okay. And this is one of the other ways of doing it. For the working device, drop the clamp over, check marks here, and simply drop the locating pin into the end piece, drop it through, and then butt it up. So you've got a positive stop. Drill your holes. Remove the clamp. Again, cartwheel it just as we did before. And move the locating pin to the other end of the Dowelmax, drop it on and put it up and tighten the clamps. And then away you go and drill your holes. And some people find that's an easier way of doing it. Certainly you get a positive stop every time. But for the moment I'm sticking to the finger. I used to dry fit all of my work before I started using the Dowelmax, but now I don't bother. Two reasons. Firstly, when you dry fit the joints, they're that strong they can be quite difficult to get apart. And secondly, with the Dowelmax, it's accurate every time anyway, so unless I've made a mistake, the joints come together perfectly. So let's start then. So that's all the dowels inserted. Now I'll just give them a good coat and then we'll put the rails on. When you put it together, just make sure the two check marks come together. So for instance on this piece, this one goes in there. Again, the check marks here and the check marks here. Now, all the joints are perfectly flush on the face side, and all we need to do is just give them a little cramp just to make sure they're tightened together. And that's it. Let's just measure the diagonals now. $11.95 and $11.95. So that's exactly right. And this is another thing I found whilst using the Dowelmax, because it's so accurate, when you put it together, providing you have your clamps perpendicular to the work, more often than not, you don't have to square things up, they come out square. So I'll leave this to dry and make the other one. Even without glue, these joints are very strong, but I still like to give them a good coating. Just need to check that when we put it together, we've got the check mark next to the check mark. Again, check mark and check mark. And that's it. We'll just nip these up now with the clamps just to make sure they're fully seated. There we have it, all of the joints perfectly flush. Just check the diagonals now and see how we're fixed. It's 12:05. And 12:05. One of the nice things about using the Dowelmax to make these types of joints is that providing you put your clamps on straight, they invariably come out absolutely square, so there's no adjustment to do. And that's it. 2 doors made in next to no time. So if you want to make incredibly strong joints quickly and accurately that come together first time every time, the Dowelmax is for you. Great piece of kit.